Hello everybody, I'm Garrett and you're watching 11 Bang Bang. Now you may be watching this in January, but we're actually filming this on Christmas Eve. And today we're talking about the Ruger GP100 and 44 Special. Now I have it today, I actually have it in the Speed Bees cross draw holster rig, and that's why I have my coat undone. Pretty soon I'm going to zip my coat up and we're not going to worry about that anymore. But needless to say, what we're dealing with here is the Ruger GP100 in 44 Special. Now the thing is, they don't make this anymore. At least as far as I know, it's no longer in their catalog as of January of 2021, I believe. And so it kind of is a rare bird, something I always kind of wanted, and I always kind of put off getting it. MSRP when these things came out in about 2016, 2017 was around 830 bucks. Now you're doing good if you can touch a used one for $1,000, because they're not making them anymore. Now they do offer, I believe, a Lipsy's exclusive still, which is a 5 or a 4-inch blued with a half underlug barrel, but this is the 3-inch gun. And I watched Jeff Quinn do a video on one of these years ago on Gun Blast, and I really was sold on it. Been a proponent, been a fan of 44 Special for years. My very first handgun was a Ruger Super Blackhawk 44 Magnum, so I did shoot some 44 Specials through that. And then as the years went by, I went ahead and bought myself a Charter Arms Bulldog, an older one, that was in 44 Special with a 3-inch barrel. And as I saw these getting less and less and less on Gunbroker, I thought I better pick one up, because a year ago, if there would have been 50 of these on there, 6 months ago there would have been 25, and now you're lucky if you find 4 or 5 on there, and they're just getting more and more expensive. And like I said, had to buy this one used. It is a 5-shot 44 Special. Let's take a few shots with it. All right, guys, so I've took my, by the way, the wind's just going 90 for nothing out here. But I went ahead and I took my self-defense loads, which were Hornady Critical Defense, out because they're expensive. And we're gonna go ahead and shoot some of these hand loads. Now, just so you know, some of the primers I was using, I didn't know I had some bad primers in the batch. They're not light strikes, but every now and then I may get a bad primer. All right, let's go over here and let's work on the jug. There's a bad primer, there's a bad primer. 2 in that first batch. Oh well, that's why I'm shooting them up now. Yeah, those are good strikes, they're just not setting it off. Now then, a lot of people will question why in the world the Ruger, if they were gonna make this in 44 Special, why didn't they just step it up to 44 Magnum like Smith & Wesson did with their Model 69? Well, a couple reasons for that. One, although this is a massive frame, and the pressures that can be withstood with the GP100, and massive cylinder, as you can see, no flutes, lots of meat in that cylinder. The one issue that they had was, although the rest of the gun can handle massive pressure, the barrel is still a 357 Magnum barrel, just bored out to 44, well actually 429, which means the forcing cone is on the thin side. And when I bought this, I did some research, and there were some guys who, when they first came out, were all excited. We're gonna get these 44 Magnums, we're gonna get that Keith load, we're gonna soup a 240 or 50 grain bullet up to 1,250 feet per second. And then as you come back a couple months later, read the same forums, these are the guys that are complaining they cracked their forcing cones. Now I have talked to 3 individuals that have had these since the beginning on the internet. I've talked to them, and these 3 different individuals have all put at least 2,000 Skeeter loads through their guns. One of them far more than that. So this gun will stand up to Skeeter loads just fine. Well, the wind's blowing so hard that we blew the camera over there. But anyway, as I was saying, not a good gun to really soup up to 44 Magnums, even low-end specs like some people were doing. Might crack your forcing cone. Think about this like a K-frame and 357 Magnum. The only difference being you're never gonna buy anything from the store unless you're hand loading it that hot that could hurt this gun. So that's my long and short of it on that. If you guys are wanting to buy a small 44 package, 44 Special like this, just be aware that Skeeter loads is about where the limit is. And then after that, by the way, a Skeeter load is a 240 grain bullet doing about 1,000 feet per second, doing about 950 out of a 3-inch barrel. But that's plenty for anything that I'll ever deal with. But anyway, I'm loaded up right now with some 200 grain loads that are doing 1,000 feet per second out of this 3-inch barrel. They're pretty good for this gun. Let's turn around and get some shooting done. Okay, so as you can tell, even with just a 200 grain bullet, when they're moving out of this gun 1,000 feet per second, hitting pretty hard. Now, I'm not doing a lot of single action because, as you guys know, I've been shooting single actions, 1911s for years, really trying to train myself how to use this double action on a short barrel pistol. Wind will blow you over. Miss. Hit. And all those shots were at about 10 yards, so that's not bad. When I first got this gun, I was having trouble hitting targets, you know, at 5 yards with double action defensive shooting. Took a lot of practice, but I'm starting to get onto it. Most GP100s and 3-inch don't have adjustable sights. These models do. Good fiber optic front sight, wide outlined rear sight. All right, one-handed. Let's see what we can do. Not good. And another bad primer, but we did get that to work. Those were a batch of really old Winchester primers, and probably shouldn't load them up, but now I got to get them shot out. So let's try a little bit of, the wind don't blow us away. Let's try a little bit of target moving. And there we go. That's a lot of fun, guys. That's why 44 Special is special. You can take, especially even in this gun, you can go all the way down to 44 Russian loads that are just mouse loads, and all the way up to the Skeeter load, which is a pretty good load. Pretty close to a full power 45 Colt. So, as you guys probably could tell, this gun originally didn't come with these grips. These are the compact Ruger grips. This gun comes with a long Hogue over molded grip, which I wasn't a big fan of. It was just not very conducive for carrying. So I went ahead and switched out to this GP100 compact grip, and I like that a lot better. It makes the gun actually look good. All right, let's see if we can go to work on this rail just a little bit. No promises. Yeah, we're off to a bad start. We need to work on those smaller targets at 10 to 15 yards, but
you also got a 30-mile-an-hour, 5-degree wind in your face.
Yeah, like you said, a 30-mile-an-hour wind in my face ain't helping matters any. So I'm gonna load up again. Let's go out to those gongs. Try those gongs. Those are big, heavy farm discs. See how hard they're swinging in that wind. That wind's no joke today. Let's get out there and see what we can do. Oop. Well, I got both of them. I think that'll do. Shooting blanks except that one. Put some rapid fire on that jug there. Yeah, all in about the same little area right there. That's not too bad for speed shooting. Just having a little trouble with very small targets today. Let's shoot up all these and get them shot. That one come back. That one, they're all right there except for the first one I pulled. Look at that expansion right there, and they say 9mm expands. That was expanded in pure air right there. Didn't have to hit anything. That's expansion right there, brother. No, actually, that's after they hit that jug right there. But I wouldn't want to be hit with no 44 Special. All right, so final thoughts on the GP100 44 Special. It is my carry gun. Good, easy to pick up sights, decent trigger. Still working on shooting smaller targets, but definitely at defensive ranges, I could defend myself well with this. Torso and head shots are pretty easy at this point. You get down to golf ball size targets and things get a little bit tricky for me in double action. Now the story of this is pretty similar to the story of the 696 Smith & Wesson. Brought them out in like 1996, and by 2004, they just weren't selling enough, so people quit buying them and they left the market. Kind of the same story with the GP100. Jeff Quinn and a whole lot of other people really pushed for Ruger to put a 44 Special in this smaller package, which, by the way, guys, it's not nearly as small as a Charter Arms Bulldog, but it's way easier to handle. Trust me, I shot Charter Arms Bulldog for years. This one's easier to handle. And The long and short of it is Jeff Quinn and a couple other people bought them. I mean, obviously they sold a few thousand, but it didn't really take off, and so Ruger had to drop it from the line. So they're going to get more and more expensive. They already are, just like a Smith & Wesson 696 is such a collector's item today. That's what I think these are going to be someday. But yeah, I'm pleased with it. Obviously, with that forcing cone, I'm not souping it way up. I could push a 240 grain bullet at 1,000 feet per second all day. Wouldn't bother me one little bit. I'm doing 200 grain bullets at 1,000 feet per second right now. So as always, remember, trust in God and keep your powder dry. Bye.